Hello, fellow social work students. My name is Kristen McGee. I am a second-year master's candidate at the Columbia School of Social Work. I joined Social Work Votes in the fall of 2020. As a clinical student, I was really surprised that there weren't more clinicians and micro practitioners involved. I see that clinical students are a really vital and necessary part of voting advocacy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Politiski. As Kristen said, I'm also a second-year student here at the Columbia School of Social Work, and I'm not a clinical student. I am a macro-level student studying leadership, management, and entrepreneurship for social justice. I've been involved with our organization here, Social Work Votes, since the beginning of this year. I felt as a second-year student, this was my time to become involved with our organization at school, but also just as my own personal civic engagement journey that I felt was really necessary. And before we get started on this presentation, our short recorded presentation about civil engagement at the local level, we just want to thank the organizers of CRISP of this wonderful event for inviting us to do this presentation. We're really honored and grateful to have this opportunity to share a little bit about what we do up here in New York.
So Social Work Votes is a grassroots student-led effort at our school, at the Columbia School of Social Work. We are striving to ensure that the people we serve have access to the right to vote. So we engage with social work students, as well as field placements on the importance of voting, voting rights, and mitigating voter suppression. So Social Work Votes was founded by a group of second-year students in the summer of 2020, leading up to the general election. The students were really galvanized by the racial reckoning of 2020 and the continued disenfranchisement of Black communities and communities of color. So Social Work Votes at the time was also, as it is now, a collection of policy and clinical students uniting for collective action, recognizing that social work students are uniquely positioned to work with historically and continued disenfranchised voters. Last year, our student leaders started an Instagram account, a weekly newsletter. They published a podcast twice a month and hosted post-election town halls in partnership with the Action Lab for Social Justice here at school.
So as Kristen just shared a little bit more about who we are and how we were founded, of course, we're a student-led organization. We do have faculty advisors here, but we, as students in our full-time roles, do most of the labor behind it. But we want to share a little bit about why we do this. So of course, we started just before the 2020 election, but that was really just the tip of the iceberg. Disenfranchisement of voters in this country is a historical problem, something that's been going on for generations and generations, and especially the uptick in the misinformation about voter fraud and all of the new restrictions that have become in place, as we all know, following the news that's been taking place. So legislative measures have been taken to suppress our right to vote. So these come in various forms. And this is not just for us. This is for us social workers, the people that we serve. This is for our clients, for our participants, for everyone who we interact with. And so different barriers that we're working to address. The fact that voter registration is not done on the same day in a lot of places. There's no automatic voter registration at 18. A lot of elected officials don't want us to be running registration campaigns in their districts, in their counties. And there's no early voting. That was something that was changed with COVID, but a lot of those policies have been walked back or changed. And of course, so we are based here in New York City. So a lot of our local politics are very different from the rest of the country. So we kind of try and keep that in mind by having students who come from different places within the country to be able to have sort of that well-rounded experience. But we are really trying our best to kind of be out there and be civilly engaged. And so this is how we just wanted to share a little bit more about who we are, but also why we do this and why it's so important for us as social workers, clinical, policy, macro, to just be involved in voting in general and with it's our civic engagement as well.
So the strategy, the sort of driving force from our past student leaders and sort of what continues to inspire our work is connecting with local organizations who are also working to protect the vote. And I'll talk about this a little bit later in our Purple State campaigns. We also work to spread information to eligible voters about the importance of voting. And we do that through researching and providing information about local laws and regulations about voting. So that includes everything from deadlines for voter registration, how to apply or reapply for a mail-in ballot, where early voting is taking place, as well as voter ID regulations. We also work with Get Out the Vote efforts. And again, I'll talk about that in a few minutes. With those efforts, we're working directly with voters, and that's sort of where clinical students come in, because we are very practiced at talking to people. So that work of engaging with voters on the phone or through text one-on-one is something I think that we as clinical students bring something a little different. Yeah, we also participate in voter protection activities. As I believe Anna said earlier, we are a nonpartisan organization, as we are affiliated with the school. And we are driven by our interest in supporting everyone who wants to access their right to vote, being able to have their voice heard and counted.
That's great. Thanks, Kristen. So as we were just sharing as well, like who we are, what we do, why we do it, a little bit more about how we do it is our various media channels that we've created over the past year and a half. So we do have a website. I would encourage everyone to check it out. It's socialworkvotes.org. Here we have a lot of just linked resources to other organizations that are doing similar work. So that's really what a big part of our mission is just spreading information that's out there, that's powerful, that's helpful, and that people maintain and update, because as full-time students, maybe that's just not something that we have the capacity for. So how can we link the resources together that it can be in one place for folks to find? Another way that we do that is our monthly newsletter. So this is a monthly newsletter that's published by our student-led team. It's called the SWV Times. You can see it here on the left side of your screen. Every month we choose a topic that we're going to focus on. We've done education, we've done houselessness, we've done civil rights. So these are different topics that we have professors here within the Columbia School of Social Work that's like their main focus of study. So now we're asking them, okay, tell us about education, but tell us about how education is connected to voting. What are those connections that we as students sometimes don't always see? And so we ask them these questions in our professor spotlight, and we really get to hear from a variety of people. Other headings that we have in our newsletter, we do news to know. So we're summarizing articles from local, state, federal elections, or even just policies that are being implemented. So things that are all connected back to the issue, sometimes the issue of the month, but also just really what's happening within that month. Other aspects of the newsletter that we highlight, we link sources, we spotlight an organization, whether that's a local organization, another organization here at Columbia, or just different organizations that we feel have great resources for both our readers, for our fellow social work students, and for our clients as well. And then we do also publish what our partners are doing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the partnerships that we've created here at Social Work Votes and how we can kind of really emphasize and just share information about what they're up to. We do have our social media team who does our Instagram accounts. You can see the beautiful graphics that are in there. We have a color theme going on, if you picked up on that. And so that's a really great way for them to publicize things that are happening like right now, whereas our newsletter is monthly, our Instagram can be posted weekly, share resources and links as well, and just engage with a little bit more of our fellow students on the online sphere. And then the two flyers on the right hand side of your screen, these are events that we've hosted in the past. So we've hosted Dr. Reverend Barber, who is a part of the Poor People's Campaign, and he came and gave a wonderful, wonderful talk about the importance of galvanizing voters across common identities and common shared experiences, in which that just really helps to empower people to vote. And we've also done phone phone banking, text banking, postcard writing, letter writing, just these events that as full-time students, we still have time to do. Like, we can get involved in these different activities. And as long as we're working together towards our common mission of civic engagement and mitigating voter suppression, we can all kind of come together and do that. So these are just a few of the ways in which our work is shared outside of Columbia.
Who doesn't love a Sunday fun day?
Yes, we do love Sunday Fun Day.
So as Anna said, we cannot do this work in a vacuum. As we know, policy can be really isolating sometimes when we feel setbacks or when we don't see changes in the way that we want to. And so it's so important to join with others because we know that we're not alone in this work. And it's really easy to feel like we're alone. So we've partnered with, as you can see on the screen, Marywood University School of Social Work, as well as the School of Social Work at Bryn Mawr. And we are currently working to form partnerships with schools of social work in Georgia, as well as one of our sibling schools at Columbia, the Union Theological Seminary. So we're working with these schools on to support their efforts. They have their own sort of voting rights groups, and we are able as a slightly larger group to provide our resources, and then they are able to join in activities so that we can share our labor and accomplish more things. We are also partnering with the Latino Leadership Institute. One of our faculty advisors, the wonderful Jaime Estades, is the founder of that organization, and we've been really fortunate to partner with them. And then we are also, you'll see Voting as Social Work. That is the group that inspired Voting as Social Work. They are a national social work a voter mobilization organization, and we have learned so much with and from them. And they are based at the University of Connecticut School of Social Work.
And maybe we'll see after this event, we'll see some of your schools up here on our partnership list as well. We would love to just continue growing this network of social work schools that are engaged in this work. So as Kristen was just sharing, Voting as Social Work inspired our social work votes. See the similarities in the names, but they did inspire us to create our own organization within our school in which we could bring together student leaders. But Voting as Social Work, they have their own vision, their own mission, and they put together really incredible resources that can be utilized by anyone. So they have on the right-hand side, they have the Why Vote campaign. This is an 8-week advocacy campaign in which you would run your own voter registration campaign. They provide all of the information that you need to do, that you need to know, and it's just really an incredible campaign that they've put together. We've worked really closely with Dr. Mimi Abramovitz, who is a policy professor at the Hunter School of Social Work, in which she shared her resources with us, shared advice, shared anything that we really have been able to build upon at our own organization, our own local organization. And I would encourage everyone to check out their website as well. Keep an eye out for the Why Vote campaign. They also have the Power of 3 campaign. These are all just campaigns that as social workers, we can be bringing to, again, as I've said, our clients, our family, our friends, our communities, and really just empowering the right to vote.
So our work with the Latino Leadership Institute started last year. Like I said, one of our advisors is the founder of that organization. So the mission of this institute is to empower Latinos and other historically marginalized communities by increasing their participation in the democratic process. So right now, the event that we are planning for, that we're working towards, is the Electoral Academy. It is a 6-week free training program for individuals interested in running for office. We also, as you can see on the right a little bit, the event will offer public policy classes taught by experts in the field. And at the end of all of this training is the Women's Conference with guest speakers, including New York Borough presidents, as well as other elected officials.
And the Latino Leadership's Electoral Academy, it's starting this week, I believe. So, and it's open registration is all. If you've missed one event, you can still continue to join. So we'd also encourage you to look at their website because it's open to students, it's open to professionals, it's really open to everyone who is interested in learning more about it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So the Purple State campaign, that was really our focus first semester of last year, and it is our focus this semester as we prepare for the midterm elections coming up in the fall. So we have partnered with organizations from Pennsylvania, that's Make the Road PA, doing phone banking efforts. We made thousands of calls last year. We also sent thousands of text messages. We were joined by our fellow classmates, our family members in doing this work. And then we also organized to work in Florida with similar voting rights organizations to make phone calls and send texts to eligible voters there. This year, our work will continue with Make the Road PA, and we are also going to be working in Georgia and working to form partnerships with schools of social work there, as well as working with postcard organizations, sending information about dates, times, locations for eligible voters, so they have information. These are the purple states, are battleground states, and getting people registered is a huge part of representation, especially as we've seen gerrymandering really sweep across many of these states and so many others.
So we just want to thank everyone for joining us here on our short recorded presentation. Of course, as we imagine you all as well, we wish we were all together in person doing these events and speaking about all of our shared mission and our shared goals. But nonetheless, we thank you for joining us here, learning a little bit more about local civil engagement, social work votes. Our contact information, screenshot, take a picture. We would love to hear from you all. Our personal emails are there as well, but not only that, but our socialworkvotes@gmail.com. Our website is there. Subscribe to our newsletter, join us at our weekly events if you want to get started and have your own group at your university, or if you'd like to join our efforts, everything is welcome. And we just again want to thank the organizers of the CRISP event for welcoming us and allowing us to share a little bit more about what we do. So we wish you well and thank you for joining us tonight.
Enjoy the rest of CRISP.